Hi, welcome to my channel and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Today I bring a topic about Vietnam Maritime Law Enforcement. Vietnam Law Enforcement Force is one of the two major embodies responsible for maritime security along with Vietnam People's Army. The Maritime Law Enforcement Forces of Vietnam comprise two main agencies, namely the Vietnam Coast Guard and the Fisheries Resources Surveillance Force, as well as four other functional bodies, including the Border Guard, Custom, Environment Police, and Vietnam Maritime Administration. Similar to the law enforcement agencies of other countries, these factors have the mandate to ensure adherence to the laws and regulation of Vietnam's at sea and enforce of the sovereignty and sovereign rights of Vietnam in its maritime zones in accordance with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or the UNCLOS and other specialized treaties. In recent years, the law enforcement bodies of Vietnam have actively engaged in international cooperation with regional and international counterparties, as well as relevant organizations to address transnational challenges at sea. In the context of more frequent occurrence of illegal activities and increasing depletion of marine natural resources, it is of urgent importance that law enforcement forces cooperate closely with each other to foster an effective approach to such issues. To understand the organization and practical operation of such forces would contribute also tremendously to such cooperation. Therefore, this will attempt to describe the activity of all maritime law that enforcement forces of Vietnam. First, it will summarize the organizational, structural functions and jurisdictions of a different law enforcement forces of Vietnam under the relevant laws and regulations. The article will then analyze the practices of Vietnam maritime law and also enforcement bodies in anti-piracy operations, preventions of illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing's protection of the marine environment, prevention of accidents and also collisions at sea, and prevention of smuggling. Next, this will be described the practical experience of Vietnam law enforcement forces in bilateral, regional, and international cooperation to address transnational maritime challenges. Finally, some assessments will be made on these activities of Vietnam law enforcement forces and proposals for future developments. The Vietnam Coast Guard, or also VCG, was initially established under the name Vietnam Marine Police and under the High Command of Vietnam People's Navy. In 1998, in order to relieve the burden of the Navy during peacetime and protect the sovereignty and sovereign rights of Vietnam in its maritime zones, in compliance with international law. In the same year, the Marine Police Department was also established as a part of the Navy's High Command, albeit with a more guiding than commanding role. After 10 years to address new challenges in the protection of Vietnam's sovereignty and also sovereign rights at sea. In 2008, a new ordinance was promulgated to elevate the Marine Police into an armed service under the Ministry of Defense. The Marine Police Department was also transferred to the Ministry of Defense and assumed a direct commandment over the forces. In 2013, the force was officially renamed as a Vietnam Coast Guard, and the Marine Police Department became the Command of Coast Guard or CCG. This marks the official separation of the CCG from the Navy as an independent armed services. Under the 2008 Ordinance on the Vietnam Coast Guard, the CCG is a civilian armed force as it is placed under the leadership of the Vietnam Communist Party, the command of the head of state, and the unified management of the government. Its activities are directly under the auspices of the CCG, Ministry of Defense. Armed units under the CCG include regional coast guard of 4 different zones, specialized task forces and centers. Each regional coast guard force manages a part of the maritime zones and continental shelf areas of Vietnam, and consists of Coast Guard regiments and fleets, scout teams, and professional squads. Other specialized task forces under the direct commandment of the CCG are Marine Police regiments. 2 reconnaissance teams are the Anti-Drug Special Task Forces, a Coast Guard Information Center, and a training center are also set up under the CCG to assist in providing professional guidance and training. As a law enforcement force, the duty of the CCG is to protect the security and order as well as ensure compliance to Vietnam legislation and treaties to which Vietnam is a party to in the maritime zones and continental shelf of Vietnam. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.